Thank you, Antoinette. Great to see you again. Since the last Sustainability Forum, where you were a panelist, it's so important to continue this conversation. So great to be here with you all today. Good afternoon. I'm really looking forward to an enlightening discussion with our brilliant panelists in this session on circular material and responsible innovation. So in a circular economy, materials or resources are optimized from the beginning of production to the final consumption of a product. So generally it's restorative or regenerative, as materials in the production process are efficiently used in a way that there will no longer be the need to extract virgin resources, and waste generated within the value chain will be lessened. Examples of this are upcycling and carbon capturing, which we'll hear more about in this session. According to the World Economic Forum, a circular economy aims for the elimination of waste through the superior design of materials, products, systems, and business models. So it's no easy feat. How do we transform our throwaway economy, in other words, the take, make, waste approach, into one where waste is eliminated, resources are circulated, and nature is regenerated? What innovations can businesses implement in their operations? In this session, we'll explore how businesses can properly integrate responsible production cycles in order to contribute to solutions to global challenges like climate change, biodiversity loss, waste, and pollution. Our 5 panelists will tell us briefly about their ventures contributing to a circular economy before we get into the actual panel discussion. You may send your questions and comments through the Hopin chat box. Our first panelist is Mr. Ben Kneppers. Ben is the co-founder and CEO of Borreo, an emerging B Corp focused on creating positive solutions to end-of-life fishing nets. Through the team's initiative Net Positiva, Borreo provides fishermen with an environmentally sound end-of-life solution for their fishing gear, while receiving high recyclable raw materials to create innovative products that bring net positive solutions to the world. To date, Borreo has collected more than 3.6 million pounds of discarded nets across Chile, Peru, and Argentina. Please welcome Mr. Ben Kneppers.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ben Kneppers. I'm here to give you a very quick presentation on my business, Borreo. I'm one of the 3 co-founders of a company that's been operating over 8 years now across North and South America, focused on creating a net positive solution to one of the most harmful forms of ocean plastic pollution. The material I'm referring to is specifically discarded fishing gear. This material has been recognized to be 4 times more harmful to marine life than all forms of marine debris combined. The fact is just the problem is pretty straightforward. It's designed to trap and entangle marine life. And now with the fact that almost all fishing nets are made from plastics, these things can last for hundreds of years, which it'll continue to do that very thing, trap and entangle marine life. And what we came across through our work down on the ground in South America was the problem actually had a real opportunity. Fishermen do not want to contribute to this problem. The fact is they don't have better alternatives. And so that's where we came up with our solution, to work together with fisheries to provide them the right infrastructure and resources and provide employment opportunities to local workers where we can collect back this material and transform it into a highly valuable, highly recyclable raw material that we're now known as Net Plus, which is 100% recycled fishing nets that works through this really innovative model that we focus on a circular economy approach. We first start by educating the fisheries and providing the infrastructure they need so that right when the nets meet their end of life, we can get the right stuff in place so that they can responsibly return it to our program. We then, in every country we operate, employ teams of local workers to do the right processing to sort, clean, pack the nets so that it can be recycled again. Then through our network of recycling partners, we can transform this once harmful material into a premium raw material source that can be applied to a variety of product applications. And in doing so, we're upcycling. So by creating an added value for this material, we can then reinvest a portion of these proceeds back into the program to not only increase this solution, but also address other environmental issues these communities are facing. And so today where we're at is trying to provide the solution to every fishery we can. We started back in 2013 with one fishing village in the north of Chile and we've now expanded to over 60 across nearly 5 countries, starting in Chile, expanding to Argentina and Peru, and now we're operating Mexico, Ecuador, and the United States. And this is just the start. This is a global problem. So what we're really looking to create is this solution to everywhere in the world. And how are we doing it? By continuing to innovate more and more solutions for for the material that we're recycling. We've started with a skateboard deck that's now partnered with Carver skateboards, to Jenga ocean game sets, to Trek mountain bike accessories, to Costa sunglasses, future surfboard fins, human scale office chairs. And now our biggest partnership to date has been with Patagonia, where we've been able to launch the first ever jacket that is made from 100% fully traceable recycled fishing nets. And by continuing to have this solution, it's continuing to also drive our opportunity to expand to more and more locations to provide this solution to as many fisheries in need. We just started this program out with just 3 friends that were really passionate about the ocean environment. And now we're working with over 30 workers across these 6 countries, where we're really truly making a difference into this growing problem of ocean plastic pollution. And so to leave you on one last message, it's really the fact of the matter is there's so many tangible opportunities we have there to do positive things when it comes to plastic pollution in the world. And the circular economy is the only way that we're going to get out of it. So although we're starting here, we hope that many more opportunities can come out of this. And that's why I'm here today. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Ben. Very exciting. I'm really interested in this project. I've worked with fishing communities in my NGO career before, and it's exciting to see this community empowerment aspect where there's education, collection, and really empowering fisheries and providing them with the infrastructure they need. Now, I wanted to share some statistics just to show how we all know how bad the plastic pollution problem is. But imagine humans produce more than 1 million tons of plastic every day. So that's like basically every 15 seconds, we are creating plastic waste that weighs like 1 airplane. So our collective plastic waste is as heavy as half the world's population. So that's 3.5 billion tons. So this is a huge contribution to the problem. All right, we move on now to Mr. Nikhil Kaushik. Nikhil is the co-founder and CEO of MIT spinoff Gravity Labs, Inc. Gravity is a carbon tech startup that replaces petroleum-based products and processes with carbon dioxide. Its current product lines include Air Ink, the first inks made from air pollution. Very exciting. Nikhil is a qualified CPA and has in the past worked with Ernst & Young India and ran his independent business and tax advisory firm. He is deeply interested in finding solutions for problems such as climate change, access to education, and basic means of living. He continues to assist several not-for-profit organizations for their financial and compliance needs. Nikhil was amongst 100 leading global thinkers at Foreign Policy Washington, D.C. 2016. Please welcome Mr. Nikhil Kaushik.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Nikhil Kaushik. I'm co-founder and CEO of Gravity Labs. We are a carbon tech company and we develop modular carbon capture and utilization solutions that would help you reduce the carbon footprint of your daily materials of everyday use. We all know what the climate change problem is. So I'm not going to waste too much of your time. We have been emitting too much of CO2 out there in the atmosphere that has led to global warming. The question now is no more about whether climate change is there or not. It's about what we can do about that. We believe there is a significant opportunity to capture and turn carbon emissions into materials of common day use that could help more than 7 billion people existing on this planet today and many more in future to reduce their dependence on petroleum to live their lives. We often think about petroleum and we think fuel, but it's a lot more. It's about the plastics that are around you. You know, a lot of fabric that you wear, the shoes that you wear, so much. So the plastic is pretty much everywhere you go, in every room, you're in your transportation. It's basically omnipresent. How do we replace all of that? How do we reduce that? Is what we believe is going to be a significant opportunity going forward. At Gravity, we developed our first solution that was a conversion of particulate emission PM2.5 emissions into materials of everyday use, starting with inks and paints. We started capturing PM 2.5 and then converted into a pigment that could replace carbon black, which happens to be a petroleum-based product, and replace that into conventional manufacturing. That led to development of air ink, which is world's first commercial grade inks created from air pollution, and that has applications in industrial and consumer use cases and can replace almost up to 95 to 100% of carbon black that would go into a normal ink. Over the last few years, we have been, very lucky, but we did some hard work too, to develop some very interesting collaborations in the space of apparel, like we did with Pangaya last year in April, or for example, in packaging, where we are now helping Dell print its packaging boxes with their ink, or for example, these interesting collaborations in the financial industry, like MasterCard, or for example, this is a recent one where we collaborated with a paper company to create a combination of recycled paper and recycled inks. A lot of this has led to a lot of people asking for how we can do more, and that's what we're working on. But you see that it opened up an opportunity for people to start replacing the conventional ink. How do we do more? Is that what we are working on right now? Over the last 2 years, we have collaborated with companies, as I talked about, Dell, Pingaya, and MasterCard, but more than that, with like Converse, Henneken, GS Caltex, Leon Airport, and there are some very interesting collaborations coming up soon. We have a launch due with Diageo in coming months, and we are working with groups like Kering and PVH to go beyond air ink and develop solutions like dope dyeing that could further reduce the carbon footprint of the fabric that you wear every day. Till date, we have replaced about 20 tons of conventional inks, leading to more than 10 tons of CO2 mitigation happening already. My team, which is me, my co-founder Anirudh, and a lot of other really interesting and cool electrochemists like Dr. Ravi and Dr. Ajay, and some really interesting co-founders like Aishwarya, we're building this for the future. Now, we believe that with this team and with the things that we have done and with the clients that we have or partners we have built, we have a potential of building something awesome in the future. Now, if you think of it, it is very basic when you do it, that you replace plastics or things which are made from petrochemicals on a day-to-day basis. What it could lead to in future is that you could get away from petroleum industry. If you think what we are doing is great, please come and join us. Talk to us, tell us what you think. If you think there is a use case that you would want us to work on, we'd be happy to do that. Thank you very much. This is Nikhil. You can reach me anytime you want. I have to add a slide on this, which I haven't, as you can reach me on my email ID or at gravity.com or airing.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikhil. Very exciting project there. You're already doing awesome things, so we look forward to seeing what else is in store. And as you said, it's very simple to do, but yet it's hard to get started. So we look forward to hearing more during the panel discussion and how to get started and about the power of partnerships. All right, let's move on now to Ms. Reese Fernandez-Ruiz. Reese co-founded and leads an inclusive fashion enterprise, Intentionality Inc., the company behind the brands Rags to Riches and Things That Matter. Rags to Riches is a fashion and design house empowering community artisans in the Philippines since 2007. Things That Matter is an intentionally curated online marketplace for advocates who want to live a more sustainable and meaningful lifestyle. Beyond the company and brands she has co-founded, she also helps build inclusive tech startups through her role as strategic finance director of Talino Venture Labs. She also occasionally gives workshops and talks on sustainability, spreadsheets, business hacks, design, and other insights from her professional experiences. Please welcome Ms. Reese Fernandez-Ruiz.
Hi, my name is Reese Fernandez-Ruiz, President and founding partner of Rags to Riches, or R2R. 14 years ago, R2R started in Payatas. This is Ate Marge. She was a stay-at-home mother who used to weave foot rugs out of scrap fabric to earn extra income for her family. But because she didn't have access to the market or to the raw material supply, she would rely on middlemen who would then leave her with only 12 to 16 pesos a day for weaving about 10 rugs a day. And she was not the only one affected by this super unfair supply chain. There were many of them. And they were the reasons why R2R started. So today we are a fashion and design house empowering community artisans from the Philippines. For the past 14 years, we were able to provide artisans with fair and regular livelihood, as well as trainings for various aspects of their lives. We have reached different parts of the world and gained loyal advocates throughout the years. We have also collaborated with some of the most amazing fashion designers in the Philippines and beyond, such as Rahul Laurel and Amina Aranaz Alunan. We also have a design team now in-house led by veteran designer Christian Serra and up-and-coming apparel designer Cheska Federizon. And this is how our whole value chain looks like. We start with intentional and sustainable design, ensure that we source scrap or overstock fabric as much as possible, and work with community artisans all throughout our value chain. And we designed our whole value chain this way because we believe that it does not make sense to support people but damage the environment in the process. It's like giving food to people while burning down their house, right? At the same time. So we thought the best way for us to truly make a difference is to make sure that our business model provides dignified and regular livelihood while finding ways to recycle, upcycle, and create things with circularity in mind. To this end, we have 3 principles. 1, we start with intentional design. So everything starts with design. So when we design, we do not just think about functionality and aesthetics. We also consider the entire life cycle of the product. So this top, for example, syempre ako yung model, this top, for example, can be transformed into 4 different tops. So all of our pieces mostly have this feature. Our intention is to make well-designed pieces that our advocates can use and use in many ways and for a very long time. 2, we believe in infinite repairability or longevity in whatever form it may take. So for example, we provide repair services even for very old R2R items. So we've been around for 14 years. So many of our products have been around for more than a decade also. So for as long as our advocates would love to use them, we will repair them. And we also have different ways in order for us to extend the life cycle of our products so that they can be used over and over again and even passed on from generations to generations. And lastly, we innovate with intention as well and design our products and systems to influence consumer behavior. So for example, a big part of our business comes from pre-orders. In a world where faster is considered better, we try to introduce a different way that is slow, but more intentional and more sustainable. So while our entire value chain has been designed and built with sustainability in mind, we still want to be even better. We want to do better. There are still many things that we can improve on. Sustainability may be a super buzzword these days, but we believe that every sustainable decision may still have undesirable consequences. And every sustainability effort could still improve. But what matters the most is for us to keep trying and keep improving, because every step towards the right direction is a step worth taking.
Thank you, Reese. Intentionality and mindfulness. These are some of the big lessons we learned during this pandemic. And what you said, especially towards the end, that I guess this is also about transformation, which we've all gone through over the past 2 years. This is generally the essence of transformation. So I want to repeat, those are really wise words that you said. Every effort we do, we can improve. And what matters most is to keep trying and improving, because every step in the right direction is a step worth taking. And that essentially captures why circularity is so important. And we'll be hearing more about the journey to get there from our panelists later on. For now, let's hear from Mr. Felix Beck, founder and CEO of Chop Value Manufacturing Limited. He developed an innovative closed-loop engineered material while completing his PhD in collaboration with University of British Columbia, MIT, and Cambridge. Motivated to create a global impact in the bamboo industry, he has gained experience by working on projects supporting companies of all stages in over 20 countries through his firm Crosslink Technologies. Under Felix's leadership, his team at Chop Value has discovered a powerful way to connect the circular economy to his expertise in wood and bamboo composite materials. He believes that leading by example with innovation and resilience will inspire others to rethink resource efficiency and reshape the future of urbanization. Felix has been recognized by BC Business 30 Under 30, Clean 50 Emerging Leader Awards, and is a member of Fulmer & Co.'s President's Council, as well as the Board of Directors for Blue Ocean Closures. Please welcome Mr. Felix Bock.
Hello, everyone. My name is Felix Bock. I'm the CEO and founder of Chop Value Manufacturing, and I'm happy to share a little bit more about circular economy today and how much we are doing in terms of innovation and challenging the norm when it comes to new products and new resources that we are actually taking out of our urban waste streams. It's my pleasure to be part of this conference this year. I'm sorry that it's virtual. That's obviously always a little sad to see, but I still wanted to make sure that we talk a little bit about all these underutilized resources that we have right in front of us. And that is what truly the potential and the opportunity looks like when it comes to our circular economy right in front of us. So my story as wood engineer starts when I visited one of the landfills here. So I live in Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. That's where I'm calling in from today. And I visited one of these transfer centers and I looked at all this wood waste. And, you know, being a wood engineer, knowing how valuable, you know, our natural resources are, I always felt challenged and frustrated that to see so much waste on the landfills, but especially if it's wood waste. I just never understood why we would actually ever see wood waste on our waste streams. So to me, this is obviously a problem, but I don't like to use the word problem. That's why I'm calling it an opportunity. And I thought, what if I could change the way we look at waste streams, the way we look at garbage with a very simple and an easy to understand story. And this is how I thought, what if I could do this with a little chopstick? And how I could do it lean, efficient, made local, wherever you are. So those were the concepts that I started with. And I thought, if I could create a viable circular economy model, one chopstick at a time, could make it profitable, could make it viable, and really develop a brand and movement of it, maybe I could create some attention to the much bigger problems out there. So we developed our vision that we are working towards a circular economy, one chopstick at a time. So how we do it, you know, we have partnerships with restaurants. We call it urban harvesting. We are then collecting these chopsticks really from restaurant to restaurant partners, from businesses, from corporate offices. And, you know, the theory was, if this concept works in Vancouver, in a very expensive city that more and more loses its appeal to start manufacturing businesses, it could work anywhere in the world. Asian cuisine is popular. 1/3 of the Earth population is using chopsticks every single day. So we thought, if we could recycle chopsticks, produce locally in microfactories, and create minimalistic design with a new engineered material, maybe that's how we will create a viable circular economy as a leading example, and therefore a circular economy as a proof of concept as the new norm. And this is what we truly work for today. So Chop Value exists really to create this innovative high performance material that is built to last for architects, home decor, furniture, and all sorts of beautiful lifestyle products that share that story of that humble, crazy little chopstick as a viable business model. So I call it the 100 billion chopstick business opportunity. I think, you know, you can't take yourself too serious when you start a business like this, but I think we've done an amazing job in really transferring what has been waste and worth nothing into a resource, what was once neglected and zero value, all the way to a beautiful, innovative product with its beautiful shapes, designs, and geometries in a very modular way to create this really, really high value product and a business model that has a climate positive impact. And this is what it's all about. So we did the life cycle assessment on looking at all the disposal materials that are actually arriving here in North America and try to see how do we develop a process that captures and stores more carbon than it releases. And this is how we came up with the micro manufacturing. And that's why we feel that being part of a circular economy should be simply the norm moving forward. And I think the only way how that works is having that global decentralized network of microfactories that redefines waste to new resource streams, one chopstick at a time. And we really want to challenge the norm of mass manufacturing, where we are shipping resources all over the world, products all over the world, and see this massive impact on our industry all over the place. So as you can see, we're not only restricted by these small tiles and these small components. We're actually modularly building large community tables, beautiful interior designs. We are looping back the resource streams, back to the restaurant partners that we're recycling with. And that's the exciting part, to really show and teach everyone that wants to be part of a viable circular economy, from resource all the way to the valuable, beautiful design and product. I love world maps, and that's why we're here today as well. We were able to have this virtual conference with people all around the world. And I would love to see Chop Value's concept in all these beautiful countries where Asian cuisine is popular and where we have so many unutilized resources in our urban forest, readily available, readily accessible, that should never end up on the landfill. And that's why we expanded the last 12 to 18 months using franchising as a tool for growth. And we have now expanded into more than 38 locations that are signed and in development, recycled 50 million chopsticks and more, and have more than 500 recycling partners in all of these different cities that are actually working with us to redefining waste to resource, one chopstick at a time. And that's why I'm here today, sharing a little bit more about circular innovation, a very pragmatic and practical approach on how we believe it is very simple, very obvious, and should truly be the new norm on how we could produce in microfactories that have a footprint that is not harmful for the environment, and truly the step forward for a better future. Thank you so much.
All right, we move on to our final presentation with Mr. Matthew Chuck Lazaro, Vice President of Asia Textile Mills, or AsiaTex. He is also the CEO of Ananas Anam Philippines. Chuck is an expert in the fields of the Philippine fiber textile supply chain, sustainable fiber extraction and treatment solutions, spinning production, weaving production and design, finishing production and design for technical textiles, and the integrated textile mill operations and management. Please welcome Mr. Matthew Chuck Lazaro.
Sustainability is about meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainability is made out of three principles that are also informally used as people, planet, and profit. Allow me to discuss briefly these three principles and pillars that define sustainability. But first, let's begin with scripture. In the book of Genesis, it says, and I quote, "Then God said, let us make mankind in our image according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the sky, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every crawling thing that crawls on earth." In a practical sense, the verse simply means that mankind, or us, men, are made to be called stewards of the world. Man has dominion over all and are co-creators who possess talents that should help improve human dignity and preserve the environment. The world is mankind's dwelling place. The planet is our home and our shelter. Its natural beauty reproduces, regenerates, and preserves itself for the next generations. And clearly, our planet and all living creatures need to coexist with mankind. So if man protects the environment or his home, man will benefit from the earth's resources and treasures. Business is a noble vocation. We must exercise moral imagination to attain sustainable profits. The success of a good business can be achieved on how you make good goods or good products, how you design good works, or how you allow people to get involved in decisions, and how you manage good wealth. In other words, a proper distribution of profits. Hi, my name is Chuck Lazaro. I am the Vice President and a Director of Asia Textile Mills, which was established in 1984. I am also the CEO of Ananas Anam Philippines, and I am a Christian businessman. Having been in the textile industry for the past 38 years, I have experienced the utilization of both natural and man-made materials, the evolution of labor and technology, and how resources are managed, where in our case, it has kept us in business for the past 4 decades. The pineapple fiber is an indigenous and a very abundant natural material. In fact, I must say it's a natural resource in the Philippines. Our forefathers have extracted the pineapple fiber and have produced beautiful woven textile products all made by hand. Through knowledge, technology, and a lot of compassion, our team is currently engaged in a full-scale development on the extraction and the applications of the pineapple fiber, transforming them into modern, sustainable textile materials. The Natural Fiber Development Program has created and it continues to identify income opportunities. The most concrete example is the extraction of the fiber in the pineapple plantation. Our demand for this skillfully extracted fiber has given jobs and additional income for people in the farm level. Our fiber suppliers from Mindanao even employ local indigenous people, allowing them to have decent livelihood and, of course, uplift their human dignity. If we look on how the earth benefits from this program, the pineapple fiber are extracted from pineapple leaves. These leaves after harvest are actually agricultural waste. And in the early days, these leaves were burned in order to rush the preparation of the land for the replanting of new seedlings. Our pursuit in developing this new material has become a solution for sustainability. Instead of burning or decomposing these waste leaves, we can now extract strong and beautiful fibers that can serve as a natural raw material. In addition, since our business model is pioneering, our experience in manufacturing together with our passion in textile have allowed our team to think beyond, repurpose our equipments, experiment and aim for higher standards of quality and sustainability. As an example, our fiber treatment process not only uses eco-friendly chemicals and auxiliaries, but we also utilize plant enzymes to achieve a sustainable treatment process. Also, as a bonus to the supply chain, the fiber extracting machine, or what we call decorticating machines, are designed and built here in the Philippines. Moreover, new machines for the treatment facility will also be fabricated here. We have recently commissioned a local firm to help us design and build these machines. This means that machine designers, fabricators, and local engineering firms will also take part in this development. Meantime, we are already taking our operations to the level of sustainable manufacturing. We are designing our workplace and equipment to operate on renewable energy. And not just water conservation, we are also working on water recycling. The future even stores an opportunity to install these sustainable manufacturing operations near farms and where employment is most needed. This further extends the opportunities in remote areas, and it also becomes a sustainable and supply chain solution. Now, just to summarize the huge impact this new material can have in the textile supply chain, farmers are provided with extracting machines so that there will be additional income stream level besides planting. The corticating and treatment machine designers, fabricators, and engineers will also take part in the chain. The fiber treatment facility now employs workers, operators, industrial and mechanical engineers. The future shows a demand for chemists, ITs, agriculturists, in short, new areas to work in the fiber research and development. Fiber goes into spinning, as you can see, for yarns to be knitted and to be woven into fabrics. The fiber can go to a non-woven process, then go through a sustainable coating to make an alternative to leather made out of pineapple. And lastly, clothes designers, shoe designers, the garment industry, and the shoe industry will benefit from this program. We are actually in the beginning stage. There's so many things to improve, and there are more applications, processes, systems, and standards to identify. There is so much to do. Therefore, I must say, there is so much to share in this program. The COVID crisis brought about challenges that taught us one good lesson, and that is we can all be caring and responsible. This was shown when various individuals and groups started sharing and sacrificing their talents and treasures for the greater good. And if you ask me, this is the spirit of sustainability. We are in the clothing business. Clothing is an essential and a basic necessity. We are transforming our business. We choose a path of sustainability. We hope that you can join us in this journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chuck. Well said. Definitely, this is the way forward, also talking about that. And also thank you for helping us appreciate once again and have a deeper appreciation for the superpower of pineapple. So there's so much opportunity, a lot to be done. And because of that, there's also a lot of opportunity to be part of these solutions. And we'll get right to that discussion. So we move into the live panel discussion. Ben Kneppers and Felix Bock are not able to join us, unfortunately, but they are happy to answer any questions you may have. So they've kindly shared their email addresses, which we will type into the chat box for you. You can contact them through email. For Ben, that is ben@bureo.co. That's bureo.co. And for Felix, it's felix@chopvalue.ca. You can also check out their websites to get more information for sure. Okay, so here is a question for all our panelists. Creating high quality products from waste and renewable resources is paving the way for innovative solutions that positively impact our society, as you've all shared, and also, of course, on the environment. So for those who are exploring this business model or are just getting started on this journey, would you tell us how to begin to design with circular materials and transition to innovate responsibly? Perhaps share an anecdote from your own experiences, what it was like for you starting out. So let me call first on Nikhil.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question. I am a finance professional who had no education in or no training in design or technology. And I think this question is going to change over the next few years. Just like when we went to school, we were taught math, science, languages. I think over coming years, sustainability will become that sort of a topic where you will be taught, from the schooling itself. And I think that's how we want to see it. You shouldn't see, hey, how can I design sustainable solutions as something separate? Don't put it in a silo. I think the way the problem has now emerged over the last 40, 50 years, it is so pervasive, it is so omnipresent that you have to start looking at everything that you do from the perspective of sustainability rather than thinking of it as a separate design problem or a separate job issue. I think sustainability has to be like, what do you eat, how you travel, how you make money, what is the source of all of that? I think that is how I see personally. And I think that is how in coming decades, it has to become for everyone. Every job, everything has to become sustainability oriented. It will require change in curriculum. It will require changes in how we teach our kids, how to live life, what sort of education we are giving to them at home, and how we operate in our office environment. So there is going to be a change on that. You don't have to be really trained into all of this. You really have to start living like that. And slowly solutions will start emerging. That's my take on that.
Exactly. This should be part of our new normal. Thank you, Nikhil. Reese, what about you?
Yes, I absolutely agree with Nikhil as well. And I'd like to also emphasize that when you're starting to live like a circular lifestyle, and if you're thinking about sustainability, you don't have to think about the whole supply chain yet. I mean, you eventually have to, but in the beginning, so that you don't get too overwhelmed, you could focus on one and then grow from there. Because the thing that we want to do here is to encourage more people to do it and not to discourage them because you need to be perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect right away or perfect at all. So there's only such a thing as progress. So when you think about sustainability, look at your supply chain or you look at your lifestyle, and then choose a specific area that you want to be more sustainable in. Do that consistently and do that all the time, and then expand that as you go along your business or go along your life. But the important step is to do it right away. Like to take that first step. That is the most important thing to do.
Yes, perfect advice. Just do it. And I like what you said. It's progress, not perfection. So, we have to start and then maybe fail along the way and learn. Thank you, Reese. Chuck, what about you? I think you're on mute.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I come from a background of manufacturing, okay? And, for so many years, we were working on or I've been working on practically plastics, because before, that was the easiest thing to manufacture, polyester materials and whatever. And, it's really interesting that, our country is so rich with so many natural fibers, okay? But we are really unable to make use of them, okay? And, I really fell in love with the pineapple fiber because, it's, as I said, it's been with us all our lives, it's textiles for the Filipinos, okay? And, going back to at least my manufacturing background, what I really wanted to do is that I was hoping that I could make that fiber or transform that fiber into a textile grade material, okay, that could be somehow mass produced, okay, and that's where it really started. But then thinking of sustainability, at the back, and like what I said earlier or in my presentation, people, planet, and profit. I I think first things first, when you talk about sustainability, I think your job or your product has to at least give some income or help the people or make people involved in making that product. Number two, of course, like the planet. I mean, who wants to get into plastics right now? I mean, I mean, it's really destroying the world and whatever. And even like, I don't want to say like even fossil fuel really is there, but I mean, we're stuck with that already. And of course, like profit. I mean, um, I mean, the money that you make, okay, it's always good to like give it back again, or equally give it to the people who really needs it. And again, when I say give it back, mine is like a life of R&D, research and development. Like what I said, we're just starting right now. This pineapple fabrics and alternative to leather is just a beginning for now. It's all aesthetics right now, but I'm looking at it in the future as something being used for performance, and of course, maybe one of these days it could be like a medical solution. I don't know. Okay, so at least that's what really drives me to keep staying here. I mean, with sustainability. Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck. It is so exciting, right? That's why exchanges like this at SSX are so important, because it's also a good starting point for everyone. So we have some questions here coming in from the audience. So let me get this one from Neil Fresco to Reese. Actually, I'll read several, then you can answer them. Maybe perhaps some of them are related. So for Reese, do you negotiate with the textile industry for used materials para magamit nyo sa products nyo, which are then used to consumers? Another question is, for, I guess, R2R or your other brands, are there plans for your bag designs to exclude leather materials, knowing that leather production has its own damaging impacts to environment, animals, as well as the health of the workers that produce them?
Yeah, absolutely. So first question, thank you so much for the question. The first question is about, do we negotiate with factories or textile manufacturers? So, the good and the bad thing is there's a lot, like tons of scrap fabric available in different warehouses if you know where to look. And unfortunately, they're just there. So meaning there are people who are really looking for other people to hopefully get that like literal mountain of fabric and use it for something else. So these fabrics are usually overstock and offcuts. So overstock fabric are pre-production waste. So even before they are produced, they're already wasted for one reason or another. Like they're probably ordered by big fashion companies as like the allowance that they need for production. So that's one reason. And it never really moves after that. So there's literally mountains of them. There is an industry that already sells these textiles for a cheaper price, but that doesn't mean that you wouldn't spend your time and effort to process them into better products. So it's a misconception that if it's scrap fabric, it's gonna be more affordable. It actually takes a lot more time and effort to really think through how to use those. As for the other question on leather, and not just leather, I'd have to add that every single decision in your value chain will have consequences, intended or unintended. And our job as businesses and as designers is to look at the consequences and to try as much as possible to choose the materials that would have either really good environmental impact, although that's very hard, or the least possible damage to the environment. It's, again, these are very difficult conversations and they are very complicated. Like, for example, our decision before to use leather instead of artificial leather was because we wanted our products to last a very, very long time so that you don't need to throw it after some time. And the non-real leather that we have used before, they tend to peel and get damaged after just a few uses. And if that's the case, is that really supporting the environment? So those are all the difficult questions. And I'm not saying that we found the right answer right now, but I'm saying that we're not going to stop asking. So like, I'd love to look around, like in this conference, like Sir Chuck, and Nikhil to think about, how can we use your materials for our products in the future? Because we should just never stop trying.
Exactly. And it's constantly evolving. And, that's why it's so important to also have partnerships. This networking is so important. So I want to go to Nikhil because you talked about collaboration and how it's so important, how to get all of your initiatives going. You collaborated with companies to develop specific solutions. Yep. So how do you know when you find the right partner?
Well, to be honest, you never know, and just when to find a partner in your personal life, or in business, it's a lottery, right? The idea is to keep trying. An idea is not to settle till you find what you want. And I think there is always a factor of luck in it, and hard work. Both works, go hand in hand. And I was thinking, we were at a fashion show yesterday, and I was talking to another innovator who works for, we're converting farm waste into fiber. And I think this was the same thing we were discussing. And my point was that you need to you need to work with a lot more people. What people see is the successful collaborations that are out there. There are hundreds of collaborations that never reach to that stage. They don't even reach to a stage where they can fail publicly. Most of them fail in private. So I think it's about trying. It's about meeting a lot more people, exploring what we can do together. And it's very important that we do that. To be honest, there is not a single solution that can solve the whole problem of climate change end to end. So collaboration, whether it is, you see your supply chain partners are also your collaborators. So are the brands that we work with or anybody else is working with. Don't see them as clients. Think of how it can benefit everyone, and work with as many people as you can. Some of them will fail, some of them will succeed. You will learn from the failures, you will celebrate the successes, and that will motivate a lot more people to try a lot more things. So I think that's how I see it. There is no perfect recipe for this. We keep talking to hundreds of people, hundreds of brands every day. And I think some of them give us the hope that, it's not just we who are trying to fight this. I think there are so many people interested in doing that. And we believe that some perfect marriages show up once in a while.
Right. And in this sense, the more partners, the better, at least for work.
Yeah. Unlike marriages, this requires a lot more partners.
We're always learning along the way, and it helps to
absolutely
share information experience. So there's a question for Chuck, for Asia Tech. Since pineapple is your main raw material, are you open to collab with the food industry? Can you accommodate the waste from the pineapple manufacturers?
Well, it really depends. What kind of waste are we talking about? You have to remember, I'm in textiles, and that's why I'm saying it's fiber. But I gotta understand what are these pineapple manufacturers like? Do they buy the pineapple and then they can it, or what? I'm not sure. But definitely, the crown of the pineapple that has some fiber in it, okay? And I never really tried any extraction or any experiment on that. But if that's the kind of waste we're talking here, why not? Because as I said, it's not just the textiles that I'm looking into, okay? There are other applications for this fiber, really, okay? So if I would know what the wastes are, maybe I could collaborate with these manufacturers.
Yeah, so that means get in touch with Chuck. Networking, perhaps there's space here on the platform. There's space for that. And research, it's a lot of research. So again, importance of networking. So this is something that we really need a lot of time for. I'm afraid, our session is going to close soon. I want to just ask each of you, here we are on the path to creating a better normal. We're trying to create a better world. How do you see your company, your initiatives 5-10 years from now? What is your vision for a more sustainable industry in your field, for a better city, a better world? Let's start with Reese.
Yeah, so for our company, we've always wanted to be holistic, support people's livelihood without burning their homes at the same time. We have to make sure that, those would go hand in hand, like what Sir Chuck mentioned. It's people, planet, and profit. It can't just be one, and then you don't choose the other two. That just wouldn't work because we're just in one world together. So for R2R in the future, I hope we could be one of the trailblazers still, to create inspiration for other enterprises to do something like what we are doing. because we're not very big, we're small, which is actually also a good thing because there are many small entrepreneurs who want to start being sustainable but probably don't know how. So there are ways to do that even if you start small.
Yeah. Thank you, Reese. And your story is so inspiring because you started so small and here you are, an internationally renowned fashion and design house and helping so many people. And mentoring is also so important. So thanks for all you do also.
Thank you.
Okay, Nikhil?
Yeah, I think it's a very simple way of looking at it. I think we want to normalize upcycling and recycling. In nature, there is no concept of waste. Nature keeps moving. There's a cycle of nature that doesn't ever require something to be classified as waste. That's a human concept. And I hope that in coming years that we are able to demonstrate that there is nothing called waste. Everything is useful for something or the other. And how do we provide those solutions is going to be the key goal for us over the next few years.
Thank you, Nikhil. Chuck?
Well, again, sustainability. I think that's the direction of our company. As I said, there's so many things to do. We're just starting, and if you ask me, I'm looking at even not just a sustainable product, but also sustainable manufacturing. Can you imagine like a factory running on solar powered and like maybe the waste could be like biogas or whatever that could generate electricity or what. But we're just here hopefully our company can create more job opportunities and build a lot of communities in the Philippines. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you, Chuck. So all of you have talked about the way to transform our system. And this is just, the tip of the iceberg, so much more to learn. What you've showed us is that the circular economy really gives us the tools to tackle challenges like climate change, biodiversity loss, even addressing important social needs. You talked about how it can grow prosperity, jobs, and even resilience while cutting greenhouse gas emissions, waste, and pollutions. And this way, we can all deliver real, tangible, and sustainable results for people, for prosperity, and for equity everywhere. So thank you again for your insights, all of you for participating in this session. Indeed, this is the path to a better normal, to a brighter future. Thank you so much again to our panelists for your insights on circular material and responsible innovation. Back to you, Antoinette.